when you say adding a profile, we're not adding a new employee, right? We're adding a customer is what you're wanting to go through.
Correct.
Okay. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You could go from the green plus here and then add a new customer here. Or you could go to the customers page, which it shows you all of your customers. And then I can add a new customer here. So same two directions, same result right there. All right. So on this one, the company name would be whatever the customer is. Now, if it's an individual, you still might want to put their name here, Mr. Jones or something. Um, you could put that, or it's Jones's Hardware, right? Whatever you want to put. Legal name is if they have a DBA or they want it billed to something else, you could have a legal name here. If it's something different, like it's Mr. Jones Hardware, but it's Jones Enterprises is the legal name, something like that. Your primary contact would be the person you're dealing with, of course. It could be the owner, the CEO, or whoever that is. And you can put their email, phone number, and then also an extension here. And you can also have the same person is also the accounts payable contact. If it's not, you can always uncheck that, and then maybe um, you can add a second person as an accounts payable person. Does that make sense, Ron?
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
does.
All right. And y'all can chime in here if you want. So,
Okay.
all right, the address field. Some of these things are muted, like you're not required to have an address. It is requiring a company name, so that's at least you have to have at least that. And there are other things. I don't think it requires some of these other things. Now, this thing called is a sub-customer. This is used if you have customers in QuickBooks where you have the main company, but you might have outlet stores or satellite stores for that main company. And so it would be is a sub-customer of, and you would choose whatever that main customer is here. So it doesn't really do anything in ShopVox. It's really just to denote that. So when you're exporting or syncing over to QuickBooks, it will note that this is a sub-customer of whatever the parent company is. So that's
Okay.
for. So it's a QuickBooks thing. Details here is what the status is. What are they? Are they a closable deal? Maybe we have them a quote. We've quoted them, but we haven't closed the quote yet. A lead would just be that they are looking for something. A prospect is something that I'm trying to drum up new business. So it's like a lead is someone if they've contacted us and said, "Hey, we're looking for some products from you. Can you make banners? So that would be a lead. A prospect would be like, well, I'm going to go down and chase down some new business from the school district. I want to try to close the school district. So that would be a prospect. And then sold means that we've done business with them. So, and you can update those statuses later, things like that. VAT number, this is VAT stands for value added tax. This is a European thing, mostly in the UK and in Europe and other countries. Marketing area, if you want to add this, is you can create different marketing areas like downtown, uptown, midtown, or south side, west side, things like that. Or however, zone 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to add marketing areas to as a customer. Shipping method is what do they prefer? Do they prefer these different ones? Your pricing level. Pricing level is if you can set pricing levels for customers, like if they're a wholesale customer or retail or trade, or you might even have pricing levels called gold, silver, bronze. Is there a great customer? So they're a gold customer or a silver, so that's something you can do here is denote that. Lead source is how did this customer come to be? Where did they get to us from? Is it just they saw our store sign out front and or they saw our street sign and so they walked in? Was it because of the yellow pages, or did I meet them at a networking event? How did I find this, or how did this customer find us, or how did we find this customer? And again, you can put in new lead source types. So the list is blank currently. So as you add to this, it will grow your list of categories. One other thing I want to point out here, Ron, is you have the ability as an admin, you'll see this green plus here everywhere. So, well, some things are not. This is hard-coded information, so you can't change that. But things like your pricing level, you'll have this green option to add new things. Most of your employees won't see that if they're not an admin or an owner in your as a user. All right, let's see. Sales rep, CSR. CSR is counter sales rep, and then sales rep. So this is if this was my business, I could choose myself. So this would be a store account, or it's my account because I'm an outside sales rep that I go out and get my own book of business. So this is where I could choose myself. CSR, same kind of thing is, this is I manage this as the counter sales rep or something. Do not call, stop supply. Do not call is you just mark this as they don't want us calling them during the day or ever. So don't call them. This one is now we added some of these things like this where it gives you information on this. So what stop supply is it disallows you from creating an actual transaction for this customer. So if I try to create a quote, the quote is actually muted. And I think sales order, all that is also muted. So you can't even move forward with this customer. You would do that in the event that maybe they are behind on paying us, or they have a lot of bad debt, and so we've wrote them off, and we still have them in our system because they still owe us money. I don't want to delete them or deactivate them, but I'm not letting our sales reps create any new transactions for this customer. So that's what stop supply is. Industry is what kind of business are they? Are they a school, government, retail, restaurant? Again, you would put in your different industry categories. Group, again, this is where you can have them as a group type. Like again, it's kind of like industry, but you could lump them into different groups there. Uh, Discount, if you want to set a discount for this customer, like they're a school, maybe I give schools a 5% or 10% discount on all the pricing. Is you would just put that here as a number. It would do that. And then credit limit, what this is for is if you want to set a threshold, is I only allow them to have $2,000 worth of credit, meaning I need to get paid before we move on to the next project. Is because they've gone over that $2,000 ceiling. Notes, this is internal. The customer doesn't see this information. Well, they really don't see any of this information because it's on your screen. But this is just like background info on the customer that you want to maybe add to them. Like they're a retail business. They do a lot of really good business. We need to treat them right, and because they come to they we they use us a lot for whatever reason. Special notes. It's maybe better if I show you on an existing customer. Let's go to an existing customer. Let's choose Bob's Pizza, and we'll edit them. Special info. This shows up right in front of your face every single time. So if I put on here, um, does not, let's say you did apparel, does not like cotton material. It it doesn't feel good on, and they don't want to buy cotton for whatever reason, or polyester or something, or they take deliveries, maybe deliveries only after 3 p.m. on Wednesdays,
Okay.
something like that. So whatever note you want to put in here, And when you update this customer, it shows up here at the very top. And so it's
Oh,
always here. If I go into a transaction right here, it's still going to be there. So this is broadcast at the customer level. You can also have special notes at a transaction level. So if I click here, I can have a special note here as well. So um, more notes on this transaction. That will show up as a secondary special note, but it's just for this transaction right here. So if we go back to the customer, I'll still see this note here, but the special note on that one transaction will be there as well. So that's what special notes are. Since we're here, we'll just use this interface.
mhm.
I'll use stop supply real quick on this one. And so you see I don't have a discount, I have a credit limit here. We can take this, we'll take this out, or we can leave it there for just for training. Well, I'll take this as kind of a weird comment. Doesn't like cotton. What's wrong with him? This guy's weird. Why is it not letting me just highlight this? Well, let's do that. It's trying to highlight that one sentence. There we go. All right. So you also have other information. So tax exempt code, if they're an exempt customer like a school or government, is they could give you their license or their code, and also an expiration. This is kind of nice because if you put in the code here and then you
Mhm.
give it an expiration, let's say uh, it expired beginning of April, right there. That's going to warn us, well, we need to get a new one because they have to renew those. I think it's what, every 3 years or something, that they're a legitimate tax exempt company or something. And so they have an expiration date on that. I'm going to leave that there because it will give you a warning that says we need to get an updated one. Account number, if you want to add account number to this, uh, email, PDF language. So if they're like, you could choose a language for this customer that they, maybe you're in Canada and you're in um what is it, Ontario, where they have both French and English. Maybe you would choose French for this one. So all the documentation would be written in French. Uh, Legacy type, you're not going to have legacy. This is for if you're coming from an older system, so you won't have those. Facebook, Twitter, website, if you want to put those in there, you can. License number, maybe they have a specific operating license number you want to put in here. Toll-free number, tax ID, if you want to add that here. And then local file path. This is if all their corporate documentation and things, maybe you have a Dropbox account where you store all of the documentation for their color swatches and corporate um, uh, things on dimensions on logos and how the logo should be treated, things like that, is you have all that on a Dropbox folder, then you can keep that there and then have the path for where that is. So we can always find it. And then other info, this is just more internal stuff. So let's update this customer. I'll show you what this expiration thing does. See, this is their tax exempt is expired. We need to get a new one because I put it on April 1st. So that's what that does. And then stop supply, I have this turned on, so it has a red flag. But what really it is it locks them down. So if I come over here, I try to create a quote, it's going to ask me for a customer. Well, I want a quote for Bob, right? Bob's Pizza. See, it's deactivated. I cannot, they have stop supply, so I cannot create a quote for them. It stops the sales rep from doing any transaction for that customer. So that's what stop supply does. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Now, if you want to hide some of this stuff, now it doesn't require us to fill it in, but this is kind of weird. I don't really care about some of these fields,
Mhm.
especially these three. They don't really make a lot of sense unless you're really heavy power marketing where I want to post on their Facebook page is thank you for your business, and maybe make that as an announcement on their Facebook page or something, or you want to have their Twitter handle so that you could include them in any marketing that you do on Twitter or something. So you could do that. Well, it's called X now, but we still have it as Twitter.
Mhm.
um, so you could put that stuff in there, but I don't really care about this kind of stuff. Another one is like VAT number. Again, that's not us here in the US, so we can remove that. Marketing area, I don't care about that. Where you can make the changes so it cleans up this interface is if we go here to settings and then we go to forms right here. These are the different pages that you can modify to remove redundant or unused fields in there. So right now, everything is turned on. So here's Twitter, right? So if we turn this off, and it's all alphabetical, so we can find website and VAT is just above it. So we'll turn those off. And then also Facebook. So let's turn that off. I'm assuming you don't want these. Yeah, so you can delete those. You can also make fields required, like we want an account number for everybody. And this is just a random number that you key in, but maybe you want to have that as you make it required. But again, you can just turn that off. Background, some of these things like background info, I don't really care about that, so turn it off. Credit limit, we don't do that for our customers. Again, just turn these fields off if you don't want them.
It's like background info.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Well, this is yeah. So again, these are just fields I don't really care about. I don't use sub customers in my QuickBooks, so I can turn this field off. So it cleans up the interface. So let's do that for these few that we've unchecked. And then we'll go back to customer. We'll just look at Bob again. And when we edit this one, then you'll see VAT is missing here. I just have sales tax. And then if we go down here below is the Facebook, Twitter, and websites missing. So there you go.
awesome.
So that's forms. All right, so that's entering customer. Any questions on that?
So no,
Okay.
No, yeah.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we want to move forward in creating the flow of creating a quote and things like that. Is that where we want to go next, Ron?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Actually, I need to edit this one because I have him stop supply. So let's actually uncheck that so we can make a quote. Since this is our test dummy customer anyways. All right. So from here, we'll create. So again, you can start from here at the customer page is I can create a quote. I can also start from the green button and then create a quote here. This allows me to choose the customer. So if I go from here and I choose quote, it'll automatically choose this customer because I'm on the customer page unless they were a stop supply. I can always change this if I want to, but I mean, we're assuming that we're on this page because we want a quote for this customer. All right, so we'll click this. This is pre-filling a lot of stuff in here. So it's pre-filling your default tax. It's a draft. And then also there's the quote date, which is it uses today's date. And then there's an expiration date, which is 30 days from now. So it's kind of like what this is for is a little bit of a sales tactic in that I'm going to honor the pricing on this quote that I'm delivering to you for 30 days. And if they drag their feet and they come back to us, say in June or July, that, hey, we're ready to move forward with this. Well, this expired back in May. Let me look and just revisit it and make sure the pricing isn't changed. Because gas goes up, shipping goes up, everything goes up, right? So you can also hit the show all fields if you want to add additional information to this one. Like if I want to have a quote title, who is the contact for this it's going to be Bob, so I'd fill that in. And who's the invoice contact? If that were a different person, again, this is the accounts payable person. Are we shipping it or what's the billing address? What is the shipping address? What's the install address? You've probably already seen this, Ron, but there's a really nice interface with when you're adding addresses, is I don't have to quite know the full address of something. Is I could just say 177
Right.
um,
Like
Blueberry. Let's see if there's actually Blueberry Street. Yeah, Blueberry in Hicksville, New York, right there, Blueberry Lane. Blueberry Hill. Hey, there's a song about that. Um, So you could do that. It fills in the city's zip, and even if there's a suburb, sometimes it'll fill that in. And then, of course, you can always add street one, maybe would be the suite right here. That you would want to add that as the suite or something. So I really like that. Is it fun where it's able to research and find those addresses for you? All right, so this is, again, I'm going in really deep detail. Most of the time when you're creating a quote, you don't have to go through all of this detail. I just want to show it to you. So due date is maybe we're just at the quote level, so we don't really have a due date, but sometimes they'll tell you that I really need to have this done by the end of this month if possible. So they have a really tight turnaround to approve the quote and then us getting it actually produced and then in their hands by the end of the month. But I probably would say reasonably I can have it to you by mid-May, whatever this happens to be. So you don't have to put a due date there, but again, that's the customer expectation is what they're looking for. Next contact date, this will actually fill in automatically. I think it's like 3 days later, but you can put in what the next contact date is kind of a CRM function is they may not follow up with me, but I want to be proactive and follow up with them in a few days. So I'm going to leave it blank for now, but it should fill in. I think it's like 3 days from now. Ship date, same thing. In hand date. In hand date may be that I'm shipping it. I need to ship it by a certain date because I want it in the customer's hands by a certain date. Or maybe this is I'm getting it from a vendor and I want it in my hands by a certain date so I can ship it to the customer to meet their expectations. So hopefully we can get it on time from my vendor. So you can use these in various ways, however you see fit. Your terms and down payment, it looks like you have a default of 50%. If you choose one of the terms in your system, you have a due on receipt and then
Right.
net 30. Those are the two that you have entered. But if you had like a 50/50, and whatever term you choose, it will put in that percentage based on the back end of the system. So net 30, it'll put that at 0. Due on receipt is 50, and it looked like it was defaulted to 50. Or I could just put whatever value I want here. I could put 25% if I wanted to.
Okay. So you can override it.
Yep. Yeah. Payment method is how are they planning on paying us? You don't have to fill this in, but is what is the expectation on this quote? Again, we're still creating our quote. And then it fills in your default sales tax. Team assignments, who's the sales rep? Well, this is my quote. So I want to put my name on this. Now we only have the one user currently, so that's all we can choose. But we would choose who is the person that is, whose book of business is this? It's mine, right? It's not yours, Ron. It's I sold this. So I'm gonna because you're paying me commissions. um, project manager, production manager, designer, estimator, CSR, same thing. Those information. Notes about this quote, if you want to put the gist of what's going on, is this is a signed package. He's looking for various things, some marketing materials. He wants to get maybe a PO box, which is outside of the system, but you sell those in your store, right? So you would have some things in here. Special info. Again, this shows up at the top. Pre-filled customer note. This actually will show up on the quote. And a pre-fill, we don't have any, but pre-fill notes are like you would have something, maybe the pre-fill note is called holiday. And then in the note, it would say happy holidays from our team to yours. We wish you a Merry Christmas or something. And so instead of having to type that out every single time, is you could have a pre-filled note called holiday. You can have another one called late is the pre-filled note. And then your late note would be um, your we need to receive a payment by the end of this month because you're a net 30 account and we have not heard from you in 60 days or something or whatever is this needs to be paid upon receipt. And so it fills
Okay.
that in. I can just come in here and just type something and I'll just put some garbage here and you'll see where that shows up. And then there's other info, a customer PO, like if as a school, a lot of times schools, governments actually have to give you a PO because they have to get it approved from the ISD or from the government agency, et cetera. So they give you a PO. So you want to put that here and maybe even the PO date when it was awarded to you right there. Site, that's like their website again, or It could be that, you want details there for the site of the business. This is a quote for an individual, or it's a quote for, this is a quote for an April sales event or something. So you could put that there. Lead
Mhm.
source is again, how did they hear from us? And then if it were, what was the actual specific lead source? So this is the type, and this is the more details if you want to add that. Closing date, again, when we want to close it, that is my potential of I want to get this closed by the end of this month so that we can meet their expected delivery of the mid of the month, right? So I want to close it to a sales order, meaning winning their business. And then closing potential is, does this guy look like he's serious or not? Is it just has different thresholds here? Is he's a 50-50 customer? He's just kind of kicking the tires. I don't know if he's going to buy from me. But if he's, like an existing customer, he always buys from us, I might put it at 99 or 100%, something like that. Shipping tracking, this is where you can actually put the shipping label here. I don't know why you would put that number here, but this is like the shipping tracking number. We're not to that point yet, so you could fill this in later. And then fulfillment type is what's the customer's expectation? Are we installing it? Are we delivering it to them? Are we shipping it to them? Delivery, we're hand delivering it to them. Maybe we're going to meet them at a networking meeting and I'll just bring it to you, or I'm going to stop by your store and I'll bring it over. Or they're going to come by and pick it up. Or if there's multiple items on this transaction, on this quote, one's a banner, one's some window graphics, where we're going to install the window graphics, but then they're going to come pick up the banner. So I would use mixed right there. All right, so that is that. So if we save this, yeah, let's add a quote title just so you can see this is branding. We'll say branding package right there because it's various things that we're selling. And so I can hit save and then add our first line item. So there we go. Now, if I were to download this PDF without any line items, just to show you where that custom note shows up, or customer note is right there. It shows up just below your line items. So you'll have a bunch of line items here, a banner, some brochures, business cards, etc. And then there's that custom note. So that's where it would say Happy Holidays or whatever you're going to put there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what the customer note is for. Before we get into that, I do want to share, well, where do those customer notes come from? The pre-filled ones. So let me show you that real quick. Is in custom notes right here. It's where it is. So pretty obvious. But there's three types that you can create. Is a customer note, a
Mhm.
lost reason, and void reason. Because if a lost means when you convert a quote status to lost, that we lost their business. Why did we lose them? Because they ghosted us, or when I call them, they never pick up, or they call, or we spoke to them and they said we were too expensive, something like that. And so you could have pre-filled lost reasons. So let's actually create a customer note, and I'll use let's say I don't know. What could we put in here? We'll just put thank you on here. Thanks for your inquiry. We look forward to helping you, or something like that. You can delete these if you don't really want to keep it, but I'll put that in there. Now, if we go back to our quote 1010, the search bar is really nice. You can find things pretty quick. So there it is, 1010. And if we edit this, then I'll have that custom note right here. So there you go. Thank you. And then it fills it in. So again, it saves me a ton of time not having to type in common phrases that maybe I want to add to it. Now you can only have one. I can't have like thank you and then permits and some other ones. But I can add to this if I want, so it's not just that one custom note, but it's a pre-fill. So we'll leave that. All right. So adding items. What kind of items do we want to add here, Ron? Or Shizan? Give me some ideas of what we're selling to Mr. Bob.
Uh,
Let's do business cards.
Business cards? Okay. So add a line item and we can choose business card. And what kind are we going to do?
just standard gloss.
Okay. All right. All right. So when we choose a product, we do want to, or you may want to change the name here. The name, whatever name that you choose, it's going to put it here. So business cards, yeah, sure, they're buying us business cards, but what are these? These are employee, um, this is employee business cards for, um, and you might even put something like this, Bob, or however you want to do it. So the name could be like for a, we'll do it on our next line item. Like if we choose a banner, is what's this banner for? What kind of event is? So keep that in mind when we get to that point. So we'll fill this in. Is they want 1,000. Stock is going to be uncoated, and then colors is just full color on the front, and that's it. And then there's our price. So we'll add this line item, and because we added employee Bob, this is what it will look like. All right. So let's add. What else we want to add?
Uh, a anything that comes to mind, Shazam? A banner.
A
Let's do a
banner.
banner.
Okay. And then what is this banner for? What's the event we're doing?
Grand opening.
Grand opening. Perfect. Grand opening banner. And then we'll fill this in. We'll say at 3 feet, well, 10 feet by 3 feet. And we'll put grommets every 24 inches. Banner material, we'll say 13 ounce. Banner material. Grommets is grommets. And then hems, we're going to tape it. No pull pockets, notes. We'll leave this alone. So we'll save the line item. It's already given us a price, of course. We'll save this. And again, there it is, grand opening banner. One of the reasons why you want to get in the habit of doing this is because if I were to left this as banner and then I sell 10 other customers a banner, well, and I create jobs for this on my job board to produce them. Well, what happens is on my job board, it's just going to say banner a dozen times for all those different customers. This denotes what this is, and so it's really quick to talk about is, hey, how's that grand opening banner coming, Ron? Where are we in the process? It's already printed, rolled up in the quarter over there. Or I'm still working on it. It's the next thing I'm printing. But if I were to say, hey, what's that banner for Bob's Pizza? So which one? They've ordered 3 banners from us. You know, is it the grand opening banner or their pizza special banner? What is it? So that's really important to put change that name right there. All right. Do we want to add anything else to this? Are we selling anything else to this customer?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have 2 options here. Well, there are actually 3 options. Is I can download this and maybe I'm going to meet with Bob and I will give him a proposal sheet and talk about the product and what we're going to do for him and our delivery time, kind of sell them. Or I could do the lazy sales process of emailing it as a PDF. So you have those 2 options. Is I can sell them by printing it out and go and meet with them, or I'm just going to email them. What this will do is it will attach the PDF quote to my email right there. Um, and then actually a better way to, if you're going to email, a better way to do this is we could do this through called send for review email or send review email.
Hmm.
Um, what this will do for us, and one thing I do want to make a note of is you can see I can convert this to a sales order. Say they looked at it on the screen, they said, yeah, that looks great. I downloaded it on the screen. And so here, as I said, here's what we're going to do. Here's the banner. Um, here's the business cards in the banner, and this is the full price with tax. And they say, yeah, we're ready to move forward. Is I can go ahead and convert this to a sales order right here. and get it moved into production. The other thing I could do is I can change my quantity on, they want 2 sets of business cards. So I can change that. Or I can, and then let's save that. Or I can edit this one and then do whatever I need to as far as changing the pricing or something. Or I can come in here and say that, well, I want to sell this for $70 a piece. I can override things. Same thing for this one, is I can edit those. Or I can add a new line item here where maybe they wanted a third thing like some brochures or something, as I can do that. But now we're going to send this to the customer through send for review. And so we click this one. The status currently says draft let me close this down real quick. See how the status is draft right now? If I were to email this, it would show emailed. But if I do it this way and I send it to, let's send this to, well, that's fine. This is a fake email address anyways. And we will use the email template of quote review. And we're going to send this off to the customer. One, there's a couple things that happened. Is the status changed to it's in customer review. The other thing
Mm.
is it muted these. I cannot convert it because I'm waiting on the customer to approve it. I cannot add line items. I cannot edit these, and I cannot change anything. So I can't edit this. I can't change the pricing or anything because I don't want to switch gears in mid-stride, right? It's in the hands of the customer. So I can't make any changes. So under reviews, this is what they we'll see is they have an email, and they can either, and then once they open that email, well, we send it off to Never Neverland here to Bob at ShopVox. It's not a real email, but that they would look at it and it would actually tell you that they looked at it. And if they said no, they would make a comment right here. Um, and then this is sort of what they see. It's a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing. But then they would approve it. So, but we could do this as well, is we could say, well, maybe they were old school, they didn't quite understand the process of approving it online, but they came in and talked to us and they said, yeah, we're ready to move forward. And so I can approve this myself if I want, right there. So we've updated this and it will say, let's see how it says approved now. And then it also shows that it was approved internally by me as the user right there. All right, so because we have approved it, if we go back to the items, I still can't change any of my pricing because they approved it as is, right? They are purchasing this and they're purchasing this. And so when I convert this, or I do have the ability to convert this to a sales order. Yeah. So these, and yes, they bought both things, but I cannot change the pricing on this here. So there we go, is we're converting it to a sales order. It's going to have some additional questions, like it does require a due date on a sales order. It doesn't require it on the quote, but it does on the sales order. So we did promise them on the mid-May. So we'll put that there. We can have additional information. So this is information we could have added earlier, but we can add it here now. Or if we don't, we can always edit the transaction and add it later. So it's not detrimental if you miss something or overlook something, is you can add it later if we need to.
Change.
All right, so we'll save this one. And again, you'll see that those notes are still showing up here. So this is still at the customer level. And then their set tax exempt, that's still showing up because we have not, we need to get that updated. So you're always going to see that all over the place. So that's kind of it. Those are like in your face notes kind of thing. All right, so here is our sales order. And so from here, what we could do is we can record a payment if they're going to pay us. You can also, when they approve it, if we go back, let's go back to this quote. When we sent this to them, it included a payment link. So they would have been able to pay for it right away. Or pay the deposit. When they approve it, it'll go to the payment instruction page, and then you would have gotten that deposit. But if we were to email this to, say you didn't do it that way, you did it old school, where you just sent it as a quote, as an attachment, now I would have to send it to them a second time and then include that payment link if I want them to pay by credit card. If they're paying cash or check, of course, they're going to either bring it in or mail it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's record. Well, we don't want to really record a payment because this is fake and we don't want to add revenue to your business. So we'll leave that alone. But it would have a, if you added a payment, it would show it down here, and then the balance would show of how much they owe us, etc. So from here, what we'd be able to do is we could now launch this into production. So what I would do is create jobs. And in this interface, we have the ability to launch this as individual jobs or combine this as one lump sum job. Well, this is business cards and a banner. So it's two different materials, two different machines. This is on our large format. Maybe this is we're doing it on a smaller format press or something, or maybe we're even outsourcing it. So you can create these as two separate jobs. So let's go ahead and do that. When we do multiple jobs, it's going to have this first page just kind of letting us know what we're converting to jobs on here. And again, I can put the main primary information as far as the install, shipping, addresses, and things. And then I'm going to continue to line item number 1, which is the business cards. So when I do that, it'll show line item number 1. I'm going to choose my workflow template. The workflow template is, how is this going to be produced? What is my instructions for producing this? Well, this is digitally printed business cards. So I'll choose that one. And then I can add additional information. Now, this is details that we can add if we need to. And we have it designed by department: design, production, and install, and shipping right there. So you can add additional information to convey to our production team, like use X material on this one when we're producing it. On the design, make sure that the name is centered on the business card or something. All right, and then you can add additional dates as far as when is the art due date, when is the production date, what's the install date, things like that. So these are incremental dates in there. All right, so we'll save this one and it will go to, the page doesn't change. And we're like, what just happened? We just saved it. What happened? Is it because it moved to the second line item? So we're now in the grand opening banner. We would choose a different workflow, maybe, is we'll just say that this is, I have a banner workflow. So let's use that one. And we'll come down here, save and finish. When I've done that, you now have this blue button here under each line item. And I can click this, it will open up the job card, and you'll see a label that says it's in design because we're in the design step of your process. So with the digital print workflow, these are your steps in your process right here.
Okay.
All right. And then if I expand the bill of materials, this one, it was it gives us the details of what we're doing. It's 1,000 business cards, 40. There's 2 sets. I don't have the details as far as the name and phone number, email address. That's something that we should add either here. So those are those same fields, or I could have put it under the uh, description of the business card. So we put in here employee Bob, but really, what were the names and email addresses, phone numbers what's the content on these business cards? Or it might be a Word doc that they gave to us of the list of names with their emails and phone numbers and extensions. And that could be added as an asset. So then maybe they gave you an Excel spreadsheet or a Word doc with all the details for those business cards. So we could do it that way as well. Any questions on this? On how this works?
No.
No.
Okay. And then also, because this has 2 line items, you'll see that this is line item number 1. Now, I don't have to leave this screen. I don't have to close this down to look at the other one. What I can do is I can go to sales order here, and I can just flip-flop between line item number 1 and number 2. So we'll come over to 2. This is the grand opening banner. Again, the details for this, here's your bill of materials, all of the pieces and parts that we're doing, the spacing on the grommets, etc. So the team knows exactly what they're doing. And then down here is you'll have the actual materials that we're using. We chose 13-ounce matte material, our grommets, and then it has ink and then a labor rate. So there we go. And then there is the workflow steps. Now this is a little bit different from the digital print workflow. You can see that these steps are different. So that's how that all kind of plays together. And then are you familiar, Suzanne, with the online proofing and how that works?
To ShopVox?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right, let's do that.
Okay.
Before we jump into that, let me show you what the job board proper looks like. So we're at the transaction page. We were just looking at the job card for each one of these line items. But let's go look at our job board now. This is in production. So this is everything that we're doing in production. Now, one thing I want to point out is you see how you have for this customer here, see how you have banner, banner, banner? It looks like maybe there's three line items that were three different banners, and you have business cards and you have flyers. Really boring, right? Is I don't know what are these three banners. And this flyer, what is this? What's this flyer for? Is it a sales event? Is it we're closing soon? I don't know. But you see how that's not specific, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at this, actually, let's take a look at this real quick. Is it says banner, banner, banner because this is line item 3, 4, and 5. Well, what were these three banners? Was this like a now open banner? This is a spring sales event banner, and maybe this is a end of school banner or something. School's out or summer sales event banner. They're buying all three of these from us. And so having the gist of what they're purchasing from us it would be huge, right? Not only for the production team, but also for the customer, because again, they're just seeing this generic word banner right there. Who put this in here? Was this,
That was me.
that was you? Okay. All right. So, what are the details on these? Or is this just a test order?
Oh, we were just giving him a quote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But you gave him a quote on three different banners,
Yeah, he
right?
wanted three different banners here
Okay.
because it's different sizes.
Different sizes, and did they have different messages on them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean is on the banner. Well, what was this one for? The this
This
is a
one was for he wants to put his phone number in front of his shop
okay
on his neon sign, yeah.
on sign banner, something like that. And then this one, the 6x2.
They all are for three different signs that are in front of his shop, but they are
Okay.
in different sizes.
Are they all the phone numbers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is phone number for second sign right there. I think this updates the job. I'm not sure. Yeah. See how much clearer that is
Yeah.
on there? Yeah. And then this one, maybe the third one is a sales event banner, but I'm sure it's another phone number on there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So that's a habit I would recommend is putting the details on that, just so it's easier to when we're looking at our job board, is we're seeing, let's go back to the job board, is we're seeing all the information of what we're doing. Now this is going to trail on because it's multiple lines, but you'll see again, you'll have details on what these things are.
Okay.
Same for this is a flyer. What was this flyer for?
Was for
I'm putting
a
you on the spot.
sales flyer, yeah. Just a
Right.
sales flyer for customers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I would maybe put that on there. Let's see what else. All right, so there are our two jobs. Now these are red, of course, because if we scroll over to the right, they're probably past due. Yep, they're 3 days old. Have these already been produced and
In
delivered?
production right now.
Oh, they're in production? Okay,
Hmm.
great. So it looks like with this one is you've added a design to it. Let's take a look at it. Let's open up this order. Scroll back here to the right. You can also, our screen's kind of tight, but I have all this real estate on the left and right? And I have to slide back and forth. You can always do this as well, depending on the size of your screen. So I can hit this and it will expand to the width of your screen, which is kind of nice. So I can see more information. All right, so let's click on, I want to click on this one since it looks like you have some dots finished. Okay, so you said design is completed and it's in the hands of the customer, but I don't have a proof for this. Maybe you emailed it to them as an attached PDF, just
Yeah, I
as,
did.
yeah. Okay, which is fine. But a better way to do it is, and we'll use our example here, is what I would do is in the design process. Well, let's start with this, is the colors right here. So it always starts as blue. Blue means it's the ready step. It's ready for my designer to start doing the design process. So what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm starting the design, meaning I have all the details here. I've looked at the sizing. I know exactly what he needs. And so I'm going to go over here to my design software. We'll just say this is my design software, and I'm going to design this business card. So uh, then once I'm finished with designing, I would create probably a PDF or a JPEG image that I could then upload to the system. So let's add an image. And Ron, I just want to choose like from your picture files, or if you could navigate to,
An
uh,
image.
yeah, just choose an image, or it could be a PDF, but let's use a picture file.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's the Sing, right?
And it's for Bob's Pizza Shack, so it doesn't really matter. It's for business cards. But you could do it could be anything. It just be a picture of your dog if you want.
And you said an image.
Yeah.
Is this which is that? Oh, that's
We
PS.
can do PDF, right?
Yeah, you
PDF.
can use PDF.
Is
And
that the
then
right?
upload.
Was that the right one?
No,
I don't
but
know.
this is for Bob's pizza shop, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, this is our sample Bob's Pizza Shack, so it could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then just hit save again. All right. By doing that, because we have the design here, this is our design. If I click on it, it will open up, I think. Let's see. Yeah. So there's our picture, right? In all of its glory. It's kind of tiny. I guess we can zoom in on it. But that's our PDF, right? And because we've uploaded it, is the design step is finished. It automatically finished it. And it took us basically 1 minute from start to finish. We started the design process, then we went to our design software, we created this image, and then so that took us a minute. That's pretty fast, Shizan. You're a fast designer.
So can
So
you?
Yeah.
So,
uh
so method in here did you use to upload the asset or the image?
I'm sorry.
What method did you use to upload the image, the proof?
We clicked on it was a button over here that said add proof.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
once you
you can, yeah, once you do that, it saves it here. So when we're looking at this is similar to that quote review message, is you have this interface here, and then you have who uploaded it. Now, when we send this to Bob, and if you want, we could send this to someone else. Is if you want to send it to like your personal email,
print,
well, just
Oh, it's not. That's name.
We'll just do Ron customer and print
7397 at Gmail.
at Gmail. Okay. All right, so we're sending it to you, Ron, and then I'll use our proof review. And so it pre-fills this. It's going to put in your contact first name. So it's going to just put Ron. So we'll say, hi, Ron, right there. So we'll send this off. By doing that is we've sent it to the customer. It notes it here in the interface. And then also that customer view was blue, right? It was ready to send to the customer. So we've sent it off to the customer, and that's why it's yellow. So it's actively waiting on the customer to approve it. So that's the online proofing.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
once they approve it, then, or if they've looked at it, it will show a number here. So I don't know if can you look at this on like on your phone or something?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm looking at it now.
Oh, are you? Okay, let me do this. Is if I do that, see how it shows that Ron looked at it and it gives us a timestamp. So it's really pretty cool. So it shows us that the customer is actually interfacing with our design. Now, just so Suzanne, so you can see it, is once you've emailed it to the customer, we have this ability to see what the customer link looks like. So this is what he's looking at. Is he has the image over here. So it's a PDF, and then they can download it right there, and then there's all the details, and then they can either approve it or request changes. Now, currently, you don't have any checkboxes for the approval process. Do you remember in our demo where I showed you it had spelling, color, and size
Mhm.
and things? You can add those to yours. Currently, it's not here. But we can add those checkboxes. But with this one is they can request changes, but they're forced to tell us what they want to change. So this is kind of like an email feedback. Is they're going to say, no, could you center the red one in the middle? Put the red one in. I want that one here. And this is Bailey's. I want the what is that? Johnny Walker, maybe on the Johnny Walker in front of the Bailey's or something. Then that's what they would have put here. Um, or they could just say, yes, I like it. It's approved right there. But let's change this up just a bit. So we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit on this one. Let's go into settings. We'll go down here to workflow, and we'll go to the bottom of this page here and our proof approval items. So we want to keep this sort of generic, but what proof approval items do you want to have on here?
Approval items,
Mm-hmm.
spelling,
Okay. So we'll put in here check spelling accuracy or for accuracy. What else?
size,
Size, view,
and we don't want to overload it, so that should be
and dimensions right there. And you might want to do color. I don't know, but we'll leave those two there as is. So let's
good.
go back to our jobs here. And let's look at this one. And I see if that changed. Yep, there we go. So by doing that is they can't just say, yep, I approve it. This makes them think, right? Let's see. Is this spelling? Yes, that is correct. And then the size and dimensions, that's correct as well. Then they can approve it right here. So that's what it does. So that's the online proofing, Shazan, on how that would work. And then once it's approved, so we can approve it internally, or Ron, if you want to go ahead and approve it on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd have to refresh.
Yeah, you might have to refresh to see those checkboxes.
Yes, I see it. All right.
You approved it? Yep. So we got a little message here that says they approved it. It kind of popped in over here on the upper right. If we look at this, we would have to refresh this. Well, actually, it does already says show approved. Um, but the dots have not changed, or this dot hasn't changed. But if we close this, the dot should be updated. Yeah. So you see how that set is set to green. The customer view is now green. So it again with the online proofing she's on is it saves you a lot of time. It streamlines the design process. Is we have the customer interaction interfacing. So I'm not having to monitor my email, hoping and waiting for them to email me to that they're approving it or they're rejecting it. Um, does that all make sense?
It does.
She's on. Does that make sense?
Oh, he's with the customer right
Oh,
now.
is he with customer? Okay. Okay. So
Mhm.
that's what that's for. Um, The other thing about that I was going to point out with this is, let's see, we'll jump into this, is because it's approved, is when we expand this, is we would also get a timestamp. So it's almost like electronic signature that you've
Okay.
signed for it. The other thing is if you had rejected it, is we could add a second proof and then send them the second version. You know, maybe they said the colors are off, switch those two bottles like I kind of mentioned, and then you would go back, redesign it, upload a new proof, and so you'll have a versioning history. So we had version 1 and then version 2 would be on top of that.
Okay.
Yep. So there we go. So now we're on to the next steps in the process is we're doing file prep and then moving it into the printing process and stuff. So that's how it works. And we can update these and say, yes, we have uh, where the file is print ready, so I can, hey, that's done, as I can check it here, or I can come over to this interface on this page, and I can, click on this one, say, okay, I'm getting the file prep ready, but
Mhm.
that's already done. It's ready to be printed. So then
Okay.
it'll move on to the next step.
Give me one second. I'm gonna mute my side. You can continue.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay. All right, so that is the process of, in your production. And the nice thing about this is it gives you a high level look at where we are in the process. So this right off the bat, I know I need to do design here and whatever this is, this only has 3 dots on it, but what is this? Oh, it's design, but oh, it's design only. You might have chosen the design only process. Yep,
Mhm.
right here, design. This is something I don't know if Suzanne's available right now, but one of the things is you want to when you're choosing a workflow is you want to choose the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. That old trite saying, right? Begin with the end in mind. Um,
Uh,
is yeah, we're designing these business cards, but then what happens after we design it? We're designing everything for the most part. Um,
mhm.
so we want to choose what is the process, and all the processes you'll see here have design in them. Even this banner product here has the design process, right? So design only or the design workflow is really more for if we're just doing a design package. Like we're going to design the flyers, but then they're going to go to your competitor to FedEx and have them printed. That would suck, of course. So, but that would be the instance in when you would use just the design workflow. A good example would be like if you're just doing like a logo design for a customer. It's a brand new startup company. It's Aaron's Plumbing. Is I came to you and I don't, I want to have a cute design with a plumber holding his plumbing wrench or something and wearing overalls. Can you do
Okay.
that for me? And then you say, sure, we have a design logo package. We could do that for you, and then we'll give you um letterhead, envelopes, uh, website format, et cetera, et cetera. So you give me all the formats so I can use that as my new, basically you're creating a branding package for me, right?
Mhm.
So that would be the instance where I would use design workflow. Other than that, I would use one of the ones that makes sense. If it's a banner, use like the banner workflow. If it's digitally printed, use this one, um, whatever the case might be. And then again, you'll probably have to go through this run and figure that stuff out as far as what workflows you want to use in your company. Because we have the various versions of workflow templates that were created, but some of them might not make sense. For instance, like I think there's like a vehicle wrap workflow. Well, we don't do that at
Right.
UPS, right? So you could just delete that and get it out of your system or deactivate it. So it's not a choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And naturally, where would we want to go to edit the workflow?
That would be under settings here. And same place we were for the proofing is down here in workflow. So
Okay.
this is where all the workflows are. So I don't do vehicle wraps. Let's get rid of it. Boom,
Okay.
it's gone. There's a second one. That one was for color change. This is for printed. We'll get rid of this one. Done. Copies, that's probably your bread and butter. You do a lot of that all day long. But install, do y'all do installs? I don't think you do, right?
Installs.
Y'all don't do installs, correct?
What kind of installs?
Well, that would be like if you do window graphics and you're going to go install it. But
Oh no,
really,
no, we
yeah,
don't do that.
or installs would be like we install electrical signs or something. But this install only is like if another sign company, say um, from let's say from Canada, is they came to you and they said, "Hey, we have a new franchise and we're doing all the rebranding for all the stores in the US, and in your area, could you install the signs for us?" So that'd be an install only. But again, if you don't do installs, we'll just get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would choose your process, and I think you said you invested in was it a flatbed or a digital printer, a large format digital printer?
UV flatbed.
UV flatbed, right. So does it make sense to have rigid sign with cut vinyl? Maybe, because if you have a plotter, I would do that. But rigid sign with printed vinyl, maybe not. Maybe I want to change this labeling to flatbed printed, right? Because this one shows printing, laminating, and then
Going
finishing because I'm applying it to the substrate. Where in reality, as a flatbed, I'm just printing directly to the substrate. So I don't need all of these steps. This is
right.
redundant, right? You could call this rip and print on material or on flatbed is maybe call it that or something. And then laminate. Sometimes we do this. We might do a liquid laminate, but with UV, it's pretty stable.
Yeah.
You might not ever do lamination, so you could just delete this step out of here. And then
Mhm.
again, rename this
Um,
appropriately.
For an example, slash real income,
Slash what?
real workflow. Can we go ahead and rename it?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, let's choose this is digital print with contour. Well, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and change it.
So it'd be, what would it be? What
Flatbed
would
print. Just call
flatbed?
it flatbed print.
Okay. And
And you can change the description as well. It's not really printed and then contour cut vinyl. It's just flatbed printed.
workflow for UV flatbed print
Yep.
prints, right? And this is the default template.
Yeah, if this is your main bread and butter, I would make it your default.
Okay. And so you said remove all of this, right? So remove laminate,
Yep, I take that out. Take your contour cutout.
contour cut.
Finishing might be sometimes, occasionally you might do put some sort of mounting hardware on it. Like if you're going to put VHB on the back of it, or if you're going to punch grommets into it or something like that. So I would maybe leave finishing.
Okay. And yeah, this looks.
QC, that's quality control, and then call customer, schedule pickup or whatever.
Mhm. And update template.
Hmm.
All right.
There you go. So now, if we go back to workflow here,
Mm-hmm.
then there it is. So we've renamed it. This one is rigid sign. If you do now, do y'all have a plotter where you do colored vinyl and stuff?
No,
Okay.
not yet. But you can leave that.
Yeah, I
But
can
we.
leave it. Well, I mean, if we delete it,
Mhm.
well, I won't delete it, but if you delete it, it's not gone forever. If we go here to the blue button, you can go to the deactivated templates. So there's our ones that we've deactivated.
Oh,
And then you
okay.
can reactivate them right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, well, I still want to keep it, but we're not going to use it for maybe several months, maybe delete it just so it's not in there. Design
Okay.
only, again, this is something maybe, well, I don't want to accidentally have my
Uh,
guys using this, so maybe delete it.
yeah.
And then cut vinyl. This is for just plotter vinyl, which is stuff like if I were doing just door hours. Like I sell door hours to customers. Well, that's just white vinyl, right? And then your Monday through Friday, this time to this time, Saturday, Sunday, this time to this time, or something, closed holidays, etc. And we're putting that on their window. But if you don't have a plotter, if you're not doing that sort of product, you could just delete that as well, that workflow.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
So we're
All
all
right.
good. So we're all good with this part.
Yeah. Yep.
All
So
right.
that is, I would say that is, I guess the final state. If we go back here to our job board, the final state of our process would be, well, we finished all the jobs in here. And then let's go to the sales order. So we've completed all the production process. So then what we would be able to do is convert this to an invoice. So then we would say convert to an invoice. And yes, we finished both of these jobs and we completed. It's going to ask us a question. It's going to say, we have running jobs on our job board. There's the business cards and that grand opening banner. Did you finish them already? Or we could say, do not complete, meaning I don't want to, if I hit this, it's going to take it off the job board. But I'm going to hit do not complete. That way y'all can play with it because it's a practice order. Just test it out. And, it's still on your job board to play with the steps and stuff if you want to add a proof to that second line item and things like that. So now what we're in the invoice state, it's now it shows this. If they were a net 30 account, then the clock starts ticking today. This is our invoice date is today. And if they're a net 30 account, they're not due for us until the 24th of May. So there we go. And finally, as far as on your side, I don't know if you're syncing this over to QuickBooks, but as an invoice, it's now ready right here to send that across. Well, actually, we're not quite finished with this, is this needs to be set up, which we might set this for another meeting we're on or something, is to go
Yeah.
over the
If that,
QuickBooks setup. Yeah.
okay.
But once it's set up, we would have that invoice available. Now, we don't necessarily want to send this because this is a test order. So what I would do with this one is see how it's marked as unposted. That means on the accounting page is it will show up on that list once you're finalized all of that. It will show up on there as invoice 1007. Well, I don't want it to go over to Shop or QuickBooks. So what we can do here is we can go to this button and hit Mark as posted. What that's telling it, the system, is it's going to take it off the post to accounting page, and it's gives you a nice little note that says, make sure that you're updating your accounting system so that this is reflected accurately. But again, it's fake, so we don't want it to go to QuickBooks.
And just for reference, a scenario that you would need to use that option would be when we process an order and send it to the POS like we created the last time.
Hmm.
Can you show an example of that? Like the quick quotes?
Send it to the POS.
Remember, we created a field to send to POS because uh, we're guiding the customer to pay through our POS, the UPS store POS, not through QuickBooks.
Oh, I think that would be the payment method, right? So that's really on your payment method. Where is this right here? Is you're going to use this as the POS payment.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that's the scenario that we would want to use the mark as recorded.
Yes. So, yes, because if we go to Bob's Pizza Shack, is it shows that he owes us money, right? Is he owes us $427 because we have this invoice for $427. But you're taking the money on your POS system. I want to have an accurate accounting in here so it doesn't look like this guy's is never going to pay us. Because if I'm recording on your POS system, but I don't record it here, well, then I'm going to have inaccurate records. So what I would want to do is when I record a payment on this one, I can say that they used our MPOS payment, and I'm just marking this as, and you might put in whatever the authorization auth number,
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Or
and then
receipt.
yeah, for your records here. So when we mark that, it's not real money, it's just zeros out. So when I go back to this customer on the customer page, they don't owe me anything. So I have an accurate accounting of that, and I've actually captured the funds on your POS system.
Good.
The other thing you're going to want to do is because we added this payment and we don't want this payment to go to QuickBooks because this payment again shows that it is unposted right here. So I don't want this to go to QuickBooks because my POS system, that's already feeding the information to QuickBooks, correct? That's how it interfaces like that?
Right.
Right. So it interfaces that information. So I don't want to do it twice because then it's going to show 427 twice, from ShopVox and then also from your MPOS system. So again, what you're going to want to do for these fake MPOS payments is I want to mark this as posted so that it will take it off of this page. Now, again, we're not seeing the page, but it would show um, that you have a payment that you can sync across. And because it's an MPOS payment, I don't want that to go across. So I want to mark that as posted so it doesn't show on this page.
Okay.
We can test this again once we get the QuickBooks interface finalized and buttoned up. I can show you exactly what I mean because it might not be 100% clear.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that covers about everything from start to finish.
Yeah.